everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gettin Buzzed. I'm Dustin Brackett, CEO and founder of HIVE Digital Strategy. And with me as always is Michael Tebow. He's our business development manager and
The Manor.
That's what they call local handgun sheriff.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah?
It's a pretty long title.
It is, but you know.
The CEO of handguns.
Okay, you're not a C-suite.
Yeah, that's also probably not the title I'm looking for. So.
Sure, fair.
All right, let's move on.
Anyway, today we're going to be talking about social selling, what it can mean for your business, best practices, what it actually is, and what it shouldn't be, right? But as always, we're drinking something local. Today we're drinking Stranahan's whiskey. It's out of Denver, and
it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of turned into, there's like a cult following behind it.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's Colorado's Jack Daniels.
Right.
But 1,000 times better than Jack Daniels.
Yeah, I'm not on Team Jack Daniels, so.
Fair enough. You're barely on Team Whiskeys.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, anyway, cheers.
Cheers. This is how I hold my glasses. It's fancy.
And so like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about social selling, right? And, what does it mean for your business? What is it? How do you do it?
Yeah.
And then some tips to kind of get started with it, right?
Yeah.
So I think first, talking about like social selling and what is it? Because there's a lot of like jargon with social media, right? There's just like posting from your business page. There's advertising, social selling. Like there's a lot of like words and like jargon floating out there. Social selling should be kind of a one-to-one, right? Or even a one to a select group of many,
right?
Where it's not posts that are coming from your business page. It's not an ad to buy your product. Like even though it is social selling, it's not necessarily focused on, hey, buy this product.
Right.
So it should be focused on, okay, we want to be strategic and helpful and educational with our content and with those identified prospects, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can break it down, it's really just building that relationship through social media.
Sure.
There's not going to be one clear-cut way to do it for every industry, for every profession, for every target persona or anything like that. But the big thing is that you're just building authority and building a relationship through social media.
Sure. And so kind of talking about how do you actually do that? Like what are some of the ways that you can start social selling?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, that was a question.
Yeah, that's a great question, Dustin.
Hey, thanks.
So I mean, again, like I said, there's not one clear-cut way. So I think it's engaging with groups and forums and prospects and current customers and past customers, and that may be you're liking their posts. That may be asking engaging questions, thought-provoking questions. That may be getting into a dispute about this is what's worked for me. No, this is, it may be just an open conversation about those types of things.
I feel like that's more of a conversation, less of a dispute.
Okay, not a dispute.
So
I typically bring out the gloves, but it could be posting videos,
sure,
posting just text, posting pictures. Like there's so many things, but you've got to test out different methods on where am I getting the most traction, and it can't just be, hey, I liked these people's comments and they didn't want to buy from me, so therefore social selling is not for
right.
me.
That's true, and I think that with any kind of marketing, like one of the best pieces of advice that I can give anyone, regardless of like what kind of marketing we're talking about, is be consistent.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to commit to it, and you've got to take the time to consistently engage, consistently post content, consistently be helpful, engage with your prospects. Like it can't just be I commented on this prospect's post one time and dang, they didn't buy from me.
Right.
Like that's not how it works.
Yeah.
There is no like light switch, right? Or easy button.
Yeah, and by consistency, I think there still needs to be that authenticity where you're not just going and liking every single post.
Sure, like a robot.
You're not just commenting, great job on every single thing that you see. And it's not the same of like, Tuesday's my social media day. And so I just get on Tuesdays. That's when I post everything, and that's when I like everything. And then I just get back to cold calling or posting content or whatever it is. But
well, and I think that like you've got to be a little bit diverse in your tactics for social selling, right?
Yeah.
Like depending on who you're trying to engage with, like you're going to need to post in groups or forums. You're going to need to comment on questions there. You're going to need to comment on posts that your prospects are making. Follow, like, comment, share, even just post to your general network.
Yeah.
Helpful and educational content from you, right? We're not talking about from Hive.
Right.
We're talking about from Michael or from your salesperson or whoever. Like it's you've got to be consistent in, okay, I'm gonna dedicate time to these things, maybe even daily, right? But it's also, you mentioned authenticity, and I think that going through and I'm gonna like everyone's stuff, I'm gonna comment great job on everyone's things on LinkedIn. Every time I see somebody change jobs, I'm just gonna give them the generic congratulations.
Right.
Like that's not the same thing. Like that feels like a robot. That feels like you didn't really put any effort into this, right? And so being strategic, right? Because you can't comment, you shouldn't comment on every post that your prospect makes.
Yeah.
You shouldn't comment on every post in a group that you know that they're in. Like that's inauthentic.
Right.
When you have expertise to lend and you can be helpful and you can start a conversation or whatever, then do that.
Yeah.
So it can't just be Tuesdays is my social selling day. Like you said, that's not a thing.
Right. Yeah, and it also can't just be, here, I can finally lend a hand here. They asked a question. Okay, you got to talk to me. You got to buy from me. You got to do this, right? Like
I see that all the time where, somebody asks a question and basically the answer that somebody leaves is, here's my phone number.
Right.
Like, what is that? That's not
I'll
helpful.
Talk to you. Here's my number.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you. Check us out.
Right. That's not helpful.
Right.
Like people are looking for answers.
Mm-hmm.
And, when people are even searching, like they're searching for the answer to their question, not for the business or for, hey, who is the sales guy at Hive?
Right.
Right. They're looking for, how do I better align my sales and marketing team?
Right.
Oh, well, here's information on that. Here's how we do that. Here's helpful content.
Right.
And an answer.
Yeah.
Not, hey, here, I'm Michael Tebow with Hive. Call me.
You want to know? Give me a call. And I'll
right.
tell
You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's inauthentic. It's too pushy. I think too often people think of social selling and they hear selling.
Right.
Like, and I think it's got to be like 90% social and like the 10% selling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but I think where people get trapped so much is they think I'm the only person with this answer. Like if I give this answer, now all of my competition is and it's like, just give people the recipe, and if they don't have the ingredients or the materials to build it, they'll come to you.
Right.
And
nothing's a secret anymore.
Internet exists.
Right.
Yeah.
So Amber that works with us, like she always tells me like there are no new ideas. Like everything's been thought of.
Yeah.
And it's just how do you do it differently?
Right.
And so I think that it's just one of those things that if people want to find the answer, they're going to find the answer.
Exactly.
But if you can be this source for the answer, you're much more likely to win.
Right.
So be helpful, be educational, and that's how you win in today's world.
Right. Yeah, you build that authority, and then it's like, okay, Michael or Dustin or Hive or whoever did a great job of explaining this. They may not buy from you right then, but then, okay, they start engaging with your post. They start to see your name and the helpful information that starts popping up, and then it's like, okay, we do have an issue 3 months, 6 months down the road.
Right.
First person I'm going to call, the person who's helped me out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think that's across the board. Like be helpful in everything that you do from a marketing and sales standpoint.
Yeah.
And it'll bear fruit.
Yeah, totally.
And so it's not just like, let's engage prospect X on all of their stuff. We're going to comment on their stuff. We're going to send them messages. We're going to cyber stalk them. It's also being, let's be helpful to our general network, right?
Yeah.
And so you've started a Tebow's Thursday Tips, Triple T.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. Like, what does that look like? Why did you get into that?
So that really does follow the cadence. That follows the cadence of I post a video every single Thursday. The reason I started it, we ran a promotion at the end of last year on just two of our bigger strategy pieces. And I started posting videos about that because this was a great promotion, something we had never done before here at Hive, and so I wanted people to know. And so I just started posting these fun, kind of idiotic videos that, you know, my buddies would make fun of me, you know, outside of work or something like that. But it got a ton of exposure. I think I've got like 2,000 connections on LinkedIn or something like that. I was seeing 2-3x, you know, the views on those videos.
Sure.
I was getting likes from companies I had never heard of, and from people in other countries and stuff like that. It was just like eye-opening of like, holy cow, I'm just this kid who's lived in Colorado his whole life.
Right.
And now I'm getting seen in Europe and Asia and Australia and getting likes from all these people. It was like, it's crazy what social media, the kind of masses that just this one person can reach. And so I started this series of just a quick, you know, 60-second to 2-minute video of just a quick tip. And it's not a, hey, you got to call me. Here's a little piece of it.
Right.
If you need us, let me know. But it does help quite a bit. Not every video is going to be for every person. I try to help some sales teams, some marketing teams. And then, yeah, if it's like, holy cow, that is a massive issue and we don't know where to start or we don't have the resources to do that, I'd love them to call me. And it's turned into some of that. But the main thing is I'm just there to help and provide educational content, and people can engage with it how they want.
Right, and that's like, it's just coming back to that educational and helpful content that people are looking for and people respond to.
Yeah.
Because you're not out there saying, okay, hey, I'm going to talk about sales and marketing alignment today. Here's a snippet, and if you want the rest, call me. Like that's not how it works. Like you've got to actually like share the info, engage with them, and give them information that they want.
Right.
And like you said, not everyone's going to turn into a customer. Not everyone's going to react to it or whatever.
Sure.
But what you're doing is a one-to-many. It's not, we're not blasting it from Hive to the world. We're not promoting this. We're not advertising this.
Right.
It's from Michael Thibault to your network.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of that like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of thing, right? You know, the people that you know a much larger group of people. And so when they're engaging with it, it's just like, it can exponentially grow.
Yeah.
And so I think there's so many different ways to engage from a social selling perspective. And I think that's one of them. And it's been great. And I think it's something that, you know, the more people can do something like that from themselves, I think that a lot of people also get in this like, oh, it's my personal LinkedIn, like whatever. Like it's basically an online resume.
Right.
Right. And I think that they're missing the boat on those groups and, you know, engaging with people on LinkedIn that you're not necessarily, like, you may not be looking for a job. Hopefully you're not, like, be a little upsetting. But, you know, LinkedIn isn't just, hey, I'm looking for a new job. I'm going to try to connect with the hiring manager.
Right.
It's a professional network to share ideas and content and grow a network.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn that's my favorite social network between the hours of 8 and 6, because that's where I go to learn almost anything, right? I go to Google or I go to LinkedIn.
Yep.
I'm not taking, you know, the business advice or the political advice from that person, you know, in my high school who never left the hometown, who, you know, is still working. I don't want to degrade any jobs, but, you know, that's not who I don't know what I'm trying to say at this point. I think the whiskey's getting to me a little bit. Just kidding. I lost it, dude.
Yeah, I think the point is like it's a great way to engage with people you know you want to do business with that are a good fit for you. Connect with them, engage with them, share helpful content, and they're going to see the value.
Yeah.
Right? That's the whole point.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great to, like you said, it's also building the one-to-one relationship. Every single person that I prospect, every single person that contacts us that's an inbound lead, I add them on LinkedIn.
Sure.
And whether they're an inbound lead or an outbound lead, and we've had several conversations, or I've just left them 5 voicemails or whatever it is.
Right.
They're now seeing these videos pop up, the educational pieces, the building of authority, but they're able to see that it's Michael, and it's not just Hive. It's not just some big company or anything like that. It's just, here's Michael. Here's that guy that was reaching out to me, and actually he's got some pretty good ideas.
I thought, I don't remember who said it, but it was like eye-opening when I think it was at an Inbound last year, when one of the presenters said, like, there is no such thing as like B2C or B2B. Like, it's person to person. Yeah. Like, for us, like a marketing manager, that person buys from Michael Tebow. It's not, this university buys from Hive. Right. And so I thought that was super interesting, that it's people that make the decisions. It's people behind the business. Yeah. Hive, the entity, has never made a single decision. Yeah. And so I thought that was really interesting to think about, that everything is person to person. And so if you can't establish that relationship and nurture it, that's where the business comes. Yeah. You buy from brands you like, and you buy from people that you like. Yep. And it's as simple as that. Yep. So I think that kind of the overall tip here is that social selling needs to be a thing for almost any business, right?
If you've got social media, and if you don't have social media, you probably don't have a very successful business.
Not anymore.
2020.
Yeah.
And so if you've got social media, it goes beyond just posting your blogs or posting a cute picture or whatever it might be. But it actually takes some time to engage with people.
It's a different spin on it, because I think we've gone through this whole like cyclical thing with social media, where it was like, oh, it's a fad. Oh, everybody's got to do this. Right. And now it's everybody's got to do this. All businesses got to do this, but also we got to do it from a personal standpoint. Yeah. And I think most business people in their head, like a personal social media is just that. Like, it's, I'm going to post pictures of my kids, and I'm only going to talk to my friends and whatever. But on some of these more public social networks, so maybe a Twitter and a LinkedIn and things like that, it needs to be, how can I help? How can I connect and nurture relationships with the right people? And I think it's just a new spin. Not that social selling is not that new anymore, but I think it's just more of a, hey, let's look at social a little differently now. Yeah. So, and I think that's a lot of great information. But let's talk about the buzz, because obviously you were a little bit.
I barely know where I'm at, Dustin.
What'd you think? Stranahan's and ginger is what we're drinking.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I'm like you said, one of those cult followers of Stranahan's. Like, back when they used to have their fans come in and bottle it, I'd always try to sign up and never got picked, or probably wasn't paying attention to my email back then or anything like that. But I love Stranahan's. I'm more of a straight shooter than with the ginger. But it's Stranahan, so I can't complain.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a whiskey guy at all. Right. I have a friend that like religiously drinks Jack, and I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? Like, that is just awful.
There's better options out there.
But I'm into it. Like, I think it was good. I don't think I'd ever be like a drinking whiskey straight kind of guy. Right. But with the ginger was good.
Yeah, you seem like that kind of guy.
Wow. Anyway, I'm looking for a new business development manager.
Yep, because I just got promoted to CEO.
Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll have another episode next week, or 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. Yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.